Hey guys, today's day 19, I believe, of the Bible reading plan. And I'm going to read Matthew 14, it's about Peter walking on the water. So I'm going to start in verse 22. It says, "Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. After dismissing the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Well into the night he was there alone. Meanwhile the boat was already some distance from land, battered by waves because the wind was against them. Jesus came toward them walking on the sea very early in the morning. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. 'It's a ghost,' they said, and they cried out in fear. Immediately Jesus spoke to them. 'Have courage, it is I, don't be afraid.' 'Lord, if it's you,' Peter answered him, 'command me to come to you on the water.' He said, 'Come.' And climbing out of the boat, Peter started walking on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the strength of the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, 'Lord, save me.' Immediately Jesus reached out his hand, caught hold of him, and said to him, 'You of little faith, why did you doubt?' When they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those in the boat worshipped him and said, 'Truly you are the Son of God.'" Now, one thing I want to point out real quick is in growing up, when we read the story of, Jesus walking on the water and Peter coming to him, they make it sound like Peter is, far off from Jesus. Like he wasn't even close to Jesus. But he was by Jesus. He was with Jesus when he realized what he was doing. And I can say that because as soon as he started sinking, Jesus reached out his hand. So he was at least an arm's distance. See, Peter was going close to Jesus. He was walking to Jesus. He heard Jesus call. So he jumped out of the boat and started walking. He had his eyes set on Jesus. He was focusing on Jesus, and he was walking towards him in the midst of the wind and the waves and the storm. But then the wind and the waves distracted him. They caught his eye, and he became afraid. He realized what he was doing, and he realized physically that was impossible, and there's no way he could be doing that. So he became afraid, and he started sinking. And many times we are like that. We start off good. We chase after God for a little bit. We come back from youth convention or youth camp, and we're on fire for God. But then our circumstances distract us. Your parents are fighting again. You're failing school. You broke up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You quit your job. You got written up. Whatever it is, our circumstances distract us once again, and it pulls us down. We see the impossible and forget about the God that does the impossible. What Peter was doing was impossible, but he was able to do it because he had the faith in God to do it. And Jesus was with him. It wasn't that he himself was walking on the water. It was Jesus was performing a miracle, and Jesus was showing him that your faith can do the impossible. We have to set our eyes toward heaven like a flint. We need to press on in faith, believing that God will do what he says he'll do, no matter the circumstance or situation. There's a verse in 1 Thessalonians. It says, "He who calls you is faithful, and he will do it." If Jesus calls you to do something, if Jesus calls you to walk on water, he's going to bring you to the other side. If Jesus calls you to cross the Red Sea, he's going to make a way. If Jesus calls you to go give money to the poor, he's going to provide the money. He's going to provide your needs. No matter the circumstance or no matter the situation, God will provide and God will bring you through it. When God says come, we must step out, no matter what. No matter if there's what kind of wave there is, no matter if there's a tsunami coming our way. We need to step out because Jesus will be with us through it all. He will provide a way. Walk on water today.